Roto, what are you fighting for?
My children's education. The law enforcement are abusing us.
Barata, what are you fighting for?
To stop racism and improve harsh living conditions.
Kaka,
Nan, what do you fight for?
for religious freedom!
What about you?
I fight for the white people to notice our problems and to reclaim our land.
Good! We are running!
Yeah!
We're going to war! Today, we go to war. We have fought for this land for 19 months. It is our job to defend the land of Alcatraz today. Let the white people know what the hardships we went through. Titicaca!
Hello, I'm the spirit of the bear, and I'll be telling you a story about a group of people. These people, they're Native Americans. This group of people called Native Americans thrived in the Americas for an extended period of time, until the colonials came through. When the colonials came through, the Native Americans had to go through many hardships. These hardships basically went through the basic necessities such as electricity, water, birth rate, medicine, and so on. One of these examples would be the Navajo Reservation. Roughly the size of West Virginia, the Navajo Reservation had to go through many hardships, such as 60% having no electricity and 80% having no water or sewage. Their birth rates were also way over the charts, because roughly two and a half times over the US, and about the same time as India. And because of this, they wanted to rebel and they wanted to gain back their land. Through the 1967 Treaty Violation Act, the Native Americans wanted to gain back their land that the US was trying to take over. And because of this, they wanted to rebel. Because of many Native Americans rebelling, many other Native Americans wanted to join the fight. And because of this, started the Native American movement.
We want our land!
Yeah!
We want our education!
Yeah!
We want our electricity!
Yeah!
We want our rights!
Yeah! Tribal leader! Tribal leader! Ah!
Hello, I'm the spirit of the eagle, and today I'm going to explain why these Native Americans are fighting. In the beginning of the 1970s, many Native American tribes initiated lawsuits to recover illegally acquired land by the whites. The federal government paid $105 million to the Sioux tribe in South Dakota. Also, one of the best-known Indian power groups was known as the American Indian Movement, also known as the AIM. It was formed in 1966, and its main goal was to protest against police brutality that was occurring to the Native American tribes.
Chief! This didn't have to happen!
No!
Hasta la vista, baby!
Surrender! Surrender!
No! Hasta la vista, baby!
No! Surrender!
Hi, hello, welcome to Psychology for Native Americans. I am Mr. Dama, the teacher of Psychology for Native Americans. Here is the one textbook that I expect you to share. Everybody huddle around Sadula, get to it.
I need some dream.
Stop. Hello. I am the spirit of the owl. And today I will tell you the story about two groups of Native Americans. One in America, and one in Canada. In Canada, in 1960, the Native Americans gained the right to vote due to the first Native Senator, James Gladstone, a member of Alberta's Blood Tribe in Canada. And this is due because Prime Minister John Diefenbaker. Another event, in 1968 in Canada, Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau passed the white paper that put down many rights of the Native Americans, such as land rights, claims. In 1970, Native Americans passed the Citizens Plus, aka the Red Paper, that counted all aspects of the white paper and gained back those rights that the white paper stole from the Native Americans. Now, due to all this accomplishments in Canada, they still don't compare to what America and Native Americans achieved, which is religious freedom, the right to vote, and the right and their land back, and many more. We in America have accomplished so much.
All right, welcome to Psychology for Native Americans 2, and I am now your teacher, Chief Dunlop. Due to much better conditions for Native American in schools, we now have books for all of you. Sadula, pass those out, please. Dewan, diagnose yourself.
Pre-traumatic factors.
Hello, I'm the spirit animal of Dunlop, and I'm going to talk about how the Native American education improved. So the typical resident only had 5 years of schooling, and fewer than 1/6 of adults completed high school. This eventually, the National Indian Education Act fought for equal rights for education for Native Americans. However, National Congress of Native Americans was formed to point out and try to fix protection of Indian land as well as Indian education improvements. Indian Education Act gave Indian parents greater control over the children's schools.
Witnessing the progression of the civil rights movement, Native Americans began to fight for their own rights. 40% of Native Americans living in the U.S. lived below the poverty line. And the NIEA fought for education of Native Americans.
In 1969, the National Indian Education Association was made to help Native Americans with unequal schooling. And then in 1976, the Indian Healthcare Act was made so it could help with deficiencies in Native American health. Not to mention that the Native Americans were the lowest of the low, even below the African Americans.
The American Indian Movement was formed in 1966 by the Choctaws in Minneapolis to fight alleged police brutality. This group also fought to solve issues plaguing Native American society, such as poverty, housing, and treaty issues. Many Native Americans also saw these groups being formed and joined the cause to fight for their rights.
Other events that led to our movement is our development of nationalism and the abuse and suffering that we took from the law enforcers and the accused crimes that were rarely even reported. And the one thing that made us fed up was the little land that they took from us. At this point, this meant war.
Native American activists occupied the land of Mount Rushmore to reclaim the land that was promised to those that they sought with. Also, due to racism and insufficient education to American Indian schools, the Native American Education Association was formed in the late 1960s. Also, due to poor education and the denial of education to Native American children, the Native Americans decided to protest to fight for a better education.
In conclusion, with all of the actions that the Native Americans did, they went through many hardships such as no electricity, no sewage, diseases, no education, and so on. And because of this, they wanted to rebel against the colonials. Even though they did rebel against the colonials, a lot of their actions ended up in failures, such as the Alcatraz Island, they ended up in a failure, as well as the Mount Rushmore ended up in a failure. But even though they faced a lot of failures, they had a lot of successes as well. In 1972, they passed the Indian Education Act, where the Native American parents had more control over the education for their children, as well as the 1976 Indian Healthcare Act, where they got better healthcare and they were able to have healthier lives. In 1970, they also had a lot of lawsuits that ended up in successes as well. Such lawsuits include the $81.5 million that got passed with the Indians and the Native Americans, as well as $105 million that got passed by the Sioux tribe and how they got land because of it.
Roto, what are you fighting for?
My children's education! And law enforcement started assaulting us!
Roti! Hii kaka! Fucking shit, I knew it would be Kevin! Roto, what are you fighting for?
My children's education! The law enforcement are abusing us!
Roti! Hii kaka! To stop racism and improve our harsh living conditions. Oh my god! We want our land! Yeah! We want our food! Yeah! We want our education! Yeah!
What is it?
Hello. I am the spirit. Hello. I am the spirit of the owl. And today I will tell you two stories about two groups of Native Americans. One in Canada and the other in America. In Canada, in 1960, Native Americans gained the right to vote due to the first Native Senator, James Gladstone, a member of Alberta's Blood Tribe in Canada, and because of Prime Minister John Diefenbaker. Another story is in 1968.
What?